Have you ever been in sitting down, working on your laptop in a process of doing something, right? It could
Yeah.
be a middle of the day. And even though you're already in gym kit, how likely are you to like really want to stop your thought process and to stop and go do 10 squats, right?
I would never.
Or what have you seen, if you have at all, a way for people who don't currently do any sort of fitness for them to start or get started?
It's about starting small. It doesn't need to be much. I need to get. I'll get help from me or you yourself. I would get a small structure in 20 minutes of get started and see how you feel the next day, and then slowly progress on that. So my biggest advice is to get started. Start small. Find find a small structure you can do at home if that is what you want to do. If you want to get into a gym, be in an environment where you can get more help, but get support easier. Do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so like the big action point that you've mentioned there is reach out for support,
Yeah.
right? And what's interesting about that for me is thinking about, so I'm somebody that provides support the same as you, but then it's like, what support do we provide?
Yeah.
And so if you think about what support we provide and the structure of what we offer, and why this is interesting is because I actually had a conversation very recently with the client of mine that I mentioned like 2 minutes ago, who's only been training with me once a week and 40 sessions on average per year. And one of the reason I had this conversation is because I wanted to understand, like, how can I help
You more.
not just him, but people like him better? And his feedback was invaluable because he then started to break down, like, let's look at this person's day and let's look at all the different components of this person's day and what might actually happen in this person's day and what they actually experience and what's going through their mind throughout their day. And then from there, look at opportunities to create opportunities for them to engage in fitness. Now, a 1 hour personal training session might not be practical for that person outside of once a week. And so it's like, okay, well, what else can we do? Can we do something for 15 minutes? Can we do something for 20 minutes? Can we do something for half an hour? What kind of, and then once you've then figured out how long are you going to give, then it's like, what is the thing that you're going to do in this 15 minutes? Is it 15 minutes of like really heavy lifting? Or is it 15 minutes of stretching? Or is it 15 minutes of mobility work? Is it some sort of cardiovascular activity? Well, then what's the practicality of that? Am I going to sweat? Do I need to shower? Do I need to change? And so it kind of created this thought of like, have we really developed enough solutions for these people to engage in fitness more than once a week? And honestly, for me at least, the answer is no.
I think you're right.
I've only been offering like a single product, which is like one-to-one coaching. And yeah, okay, I'll do online coaching, but then that already relies on somebody like already actively engaging in fitness multiple times a week. So for all the other people that are like, I'm just about making it 40 times a year to train with you, right? Because I have an appointment and I'm struggling to get engaged with fitness outside of this. How else are you supporting me? And that I think is a very important question for us to start answering as an industry so that we can actually have more options for people. And so group exercise is a big thing, right? And you did
Yeah.
loads of group exercise and it's actually like you did that very successfully as well. And so how many people were coming, 30 people coming multiple times a day to engage in fitness in before work, during their lunch hour, after work. It was a pre-planned, to go back to what we were saying earlier, it was a pre-planned structured thing that they didn't have to think about what they were going to do when they got there. It was fun. There were other people there to kind of share the energy with, and they still got to work out and engage in fitness. Now, that's one of the benefits I've been speaking about for years, about the benefits of group exercise. Even though I don't
Do it. Yeah.
do it, it's always been something that I've seen is going to be a much larger solution for most people than people like having to just train by themselves or train with a trainer. So group exercise is definitely one thing, and that's going to continue to grow and give more access to more people. But for the people that don't want to do stuff in groups,
How can we support them more?
how can we support them more? And if you are a trainer, like are you then offering 15-minute sessions? As crazy as it sounds, 15 minutes, come, and this is the exact type of work that we're going to do. These are the benefits that you're going to gain from this work. And this is how I'm going to support you. And if you can do this at least one more extra time with me this week, then psychologically, we've now got you
Twice a week.
right? And that twice a week, maybe some days you have longer than 15 minutes.
I think you're so right in everything you say, and like sometimes the person don't even need to be with us for 15 minutes, but do we create this small structure where they have to do 2 movements twice, X amount of reps, and they say they do that twice a week additionally to they come and train with us. That can be, I got up in the morning, I make my coffee before I go to shower, I do 10 squats while sitting on the chair, standing up. I do supported split squats, same thing, knee to the floor, back up. I do that twice of each movement, and that's it. Just that will benefit so much compared to do nothing if we do that twice a week, and get people from A to B, for staying younger for longer, is so valuable to get your habits in. And but more how to build habits is a different question. But if you can build a habit in every time before I go to shower, I doing X. After a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, that is too easy. So now we need to challenge you slightly different. But already now, this will take you 5, max 10 minutes to actually get progression within your day and your fitness and your health.
I'm going to ask you a question because I've heard that before, and it sounds really good on paper.
But actually action on it is very
Now,
hard.
yeah, like let's play it out in real time and let's just put ourselves in that situation.
Yeah.
Have you ever been sitting down, working on your laptop in a process of doing something, right? It could be a middle of the day. And even though you're already in gym kit, how likely are you to like really want to stop your thought process and
go and do stuff,
get the task done, to stop and go do 10 squats? Right?
I would never, ever. That's why I say if you can get people to do it before the shower in the morning, that will help, because of it. Then I can sweat slightly. I'm already sweated from having slept.
On my way here,
Yeah,
right, and on your way here, I'm gonna assume both of us took a shower today, right?
Definitely.
Now, the likelihood of me, I'm thinking, cool, I got to get down to the studio, I got to get things set up, I got to be here by a certain time, I want to get coffee in this, that, blah, blah, blah. And am I like thinking about, even though it's only going to take me a minute tops,
Yeah,
it's not so much the practicality of it, it's the psychology of me disrupting my flow of productivity and getting ready and getting here and getting set up to stop and do, some mobility exercises, right? Like you might jump in, you do like, okay, 1 round of the world's greatest stretch, followed by 1 round of up dog, down dog, followed by 1 round of, a thoracic bridge with a reach. And like, great, that might actually take just 2 minutes to do that. And you've massively benefited physiologically, everything wonderful. But to how it then affects everything else, it's like it's a good thing to do. It's not an impossible thing to do, but it's a hard practice to put yourself in. And I actually can't sit here myself
and say you do it
and say I would do it. Like I don't need to, because I train and everything else like that. If I didn't, and that was the only thing I could do, I honestly can tell you, I don't think I would just be like super eat. Like it would be a real push for me to get into that habit.
I can tell you one thing. So when I was a personal PT manager in Virgin in Mayfair, right? I had a year where I did not train.
Yeah.
I was kind of stressed just because of I have X amount of hours to do it, my job in the week, but I did 10 hours more, not paid for, and then I had PT sessions, right? So I felt I had so much on my plate, and when I've done, I'll just go home, be with my missus, my dog, whatever, and I can tell you, I was like, I'm not going to do it. But what then happened was, actually, my mum, she was like, Simon, you got a bit overweight. And I was like, sure. And then around the Christmas time, when it got a little bit more quiet, I was sitting down and I thought, I miss how I felt when I was a footballer. because at that time I was training as an athlete. I was always fit, did stuff. So from that moment, I was like, I'm gonna find time for myself in the day. It's non-negotiable. I just have to train. It doesn't have to be much. It could be 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes. I just have to get something done and then have a shower. Doesn't need to be crazy. I just have to get back into it. I was fortunate. I was working in a gym.
Yeah.
So I'm already in sports gear. The only thing I had to do was take a shirt off, take a shirt on, and I'm in my session. And as we spoke about, then get people from the office into a gym is so much harder. But now, because I get into the habit of every time I have a gap, non-negotiable, go in and train. Now I train 2 to 5 times a week. Doesn't need to be excessive. Good idea when I go in and train what I'm going to do. And now I have done that in a year and a half again, from that year where I didn't train to actually train consistently. And because it's just consistent, I'm not even debating, oh, I'm going to train or not. It's just like I'm just doing it because now it become a habit. It's easier. It's that thing where but when you have that day where you're like from the morning to the evening, everything is blocked out. You look at your diary and it's like 5 different colors. You're like, whew, this is gonna be a long ass day. 100% understand why people is overwhelmed or can't find time for it. Don't like take an action on it because there might be the last thing they want to think about. My advice to it is, I feel so much happier. I have much more clarity. I'm more sharp. I feel better. I get better energy to the people around me and to my partner. And a fun fact, since I stopped being the PT manager, multiple of my PTs have come by and said, you look younger, you look happier, and I do. And that was not even an important job.
I can vouch for that. I can vouch for that. You certainly do. I think, to touch on all of that, that is actually the hard truth of it, is that there isn't a trick or tip or whatever. It's just the reality of you're going to have to make yourself do it. And whenever I think about, like today when I woke up, I make my bed straight away. I get up out of bed, I make my bed straight away. I'm not one of the types of people that walks off and just leaves my bed made undone. I had laundry to put away. I have all these little things, and I get up and I get to it, doing it all straight away. I wash my dishes at the same time as I'm cooking. I put everything back. I'm very like constantly neat and tidy and organized. I haven't been like that my entire life. There was years of my life where my bed was literally never made, right? And now to be the way I am today is because I've been talking to myself, and every time I need to do something that's uncomfortable or really difficult, I try my best to remind myself the benefit of doing it.
Yeah.
And that once I start doing it consistently, like you mentioned, that it won't actually be something that requires a massive effort from me or that feels uncomfortable to do. It's just something now that I'll do. And if it means you have like 3 exercises that you need to do when you get up that take you a total of, let's say, 2 to 3 minutes, maybe 5 minutes maximum, are you going to feel like doing those exercises? The answer is absolutely not. Even once you get used to doing it, are you going to want to do those exercises? The answer is absolutely not. Are you going to be better off, and are you going to enjoy the benefits that come with regularly doing those exercises? Absolutely yes. And are you more likely to become automatic in your behavior in terms of getting up and doing them, even though the feeling of this isn't something that I'm looking forward to? But now what you're finding is your body is just carrying you into the routine because it's used to it. And so you get up and you just have some floor space. You do 2 to 3 exercises, even if it's just some squats and some lunges. And mobility exercises are probably the best category of exercises to utilize this time and space with. Like, we're not saying you got to get in and start doing some dumbbell pressing and some bicep curls and all this kind of stuff. You're literally looking to move your body through your joints, and that's what mobility exercises allow you to do. And that's probably something that we should create, right? We should create a mobility morning routine And if, by the way, like 900,000 other fitness professionals have done this, if you go onto YouTube and type in morning mobility routine,
It'll be that.
there will literally be like hundreds of videos. And I actually did this with my flatmate not too long ago. She hadn't been exercising. She's been experiencing like really severe back pain to the point where she's almost been paralyzed for like a day. She's, you know, in no disrespectful way, she is overweight, and she's been struggling because she hasn't been doing any exercise at all. And she was wearing like these heat pads. She's had consultations with like, you know, treatment professionals and this and that, and nothing is helping her. No one's been able to help her. And I said, but you're just like literally not doing any exercise. And she actually represents the type of person that we're talking about. And, you know, there was a lot of like emotion blocking her from taking any action in it. And there was also a lot of emotion blocking her from asking me for help because she didn't want to be imposing on me, right? Like, you know, you're a really busy person. I don't want, you know, and I was like, look, do you want help with this? And she was still saying like nothing. And, you know, she was evading the question to the point where I've had to literally kind of be like, all right, come here, come into this space now. So taking her into the living room area, and I said, okay, cool. And I very sort of gently got her into like just sitting on the floor, from sitting on the floor, being on hands and knees, and then from hands and knees into a push-up position, not to do a push-up. But then from there, we've taken a side step out into a dynamic lunge, and we've rotated outwards. Now we're doing world space stretch, right? And I'm taking her through this one step at a time. I haven't given her the whole thing. I'm doing it with her to some extent. I'm asking her to relax. I'm asking her to breathe. And now she's doing stuff. And then I took her through another 2 mobility exercises, and she was just like, wow, okay, yeah, that was much better than I thought it would be. I didn't think I'd even be able to do that. I said, right, how's your back feeling? She goes, I don't feel it. It feels good.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's because, like, yeah, it's for most people, there are some very legitimate cases of like chronic back issues, and that are quite severe. But arguably, I would say almost 80% of people that experience discomfort, especially lower back pain, a lot of it, if you correlate with, they have no movement, no activity going on in their day to day. And the second they start moving around, they start to feel better.
Yeah.
Same thing happens to me, and I can imagine the same thing happens to
Me
you.
too.
If you have a couple of days where you've not been moving around, where, you know, I'm in my late 30s, I think you're in your mid 30s or early, and it's kind of like, yeah, your body starts to stiffen up and it feels uncomfortable. And then as soon as you start moving things around, even just going for a walk is so massively alleviating. And I personally don't really like going for walks, so I'd rather just do the 2 or 3 mobility exercises. But I think that's like a huge major thing for most people to get into exercise without worrying about going to a fitness class, going to a gym, getting involved in a training program. Just start moving your body, using some mobility exercises that you can literally find on Google or YouTube, or literally, if you want to, message me or Simon, and either one of us will be happy to send you some videos or like a small structure that you can do in 5 minutes every morning.
I have people in the mid-30s that have issue to move their stiff and actually look and feel much older than they are. And then I have one of my older clients, they're 80 plus. I can get to do stuff I would get a mid-30s, start 40s person to do, purely because he's fortunate to be able to train every second day with a coach, where other people that are younger have a different lifestyle, much more busy, don't have the time. And just moving is massive benefits, and not just for your body, for your health, vitamins, mind, like mind blown.
I am one of those people that will end up not moving at all.
Yeah.
It was just really bizarre given what I do for a living. But who I am as a person is, again, I'm very introverted. I don't do a lot of social stuff. Outside of working, there's not much reason for me to move around. I can comfortably spend my day off in bed the whole day. And that might even extend to 2 days if I have like an entire
Nothing to
weekend
do.
off.
Yeah, exactly.
I now have to consciously make the effort to get up. And because the weather's good at the moment, what's happening is I'm waking up in the morning and I'm basically getting a coffee from prep, right? So I'm not having coffee at home. I'm getting up, I'm walking to the prep is like 7 minutes away. I walk 7 minutes down to the prep. I get a black filter with a shot of hazelnut, right? It's relatively a cheap coffee. And then I get out. Not only am I out into daylight, but I'm also around other human beings as well. Even though I'm not interacting with them, it does have an impact on you,
Massively.
your mental well-being. I get my coffee, I come back. Because I've already made my bed before I left, I'm not getting back into bed. I then get into my office chair. I'm sitting there, maybe I'll watch a video and but I'm up and I'm moving and I'm around. And then I keep having to find things because I could reach out to people and say, oh, let's hang out or whatever. My natural instinct.
It's like, no chance. I'm just
No,
myself.
I will do it every now and again, but to the level of regular activity that I need as a human, I can't do it to that frequency. So I've had to figure out, how do I make myself active without involving other people?
Yeah.
Because a big part of why we're active and why relationships are so important is because they get us up and moving and give us a purpose to live our lives. And so, one, if you're like me, make more friends. Get a girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever it is. Have kids, I don't know, whatever. Otherwise, if you're going to be by yourself and you're not going to have as many people to engage with outside of your working scenario or whatever responsibilities that you have, figure out don't just use that as an opportunity to lie. I've done it for years and years and years and years. And not only has it been bad for me physically, but it's also been bad for me mentally as well. And so it's now very important to me. And it's one thing that I kind of encourage anybody outside of our job is to train people, get results. And for sure, that's great. There's a lot of people that aren't going to do training and aren't going to get results. So the second next thing that's really important that I feel is our job as an industry to make sure is happening is at the very least people are just active.
Now when I speak to people about what I'm doing or what I want to do, I'm actively making the effort of booking in meetings. So I had a meeting with a branding person I know through my sister-in-law. I have been to a networking event, a networking dinner. I've been for coffees with multiple people. I have reached out to all my old clients to hear how they're doing. And now I move space. Do they have anyone in their network that need a coach? And just that, I'm actively reaching out and doing stuff. I'm making my week busy and stuff will happen. But I get up and get it done. But also another tendency I have is as soon as I come home, I sit on the couch. I can easily be there for 2 hours, 5 hours, not moving, where I'm like, I actually just want to get up and do something and be around people, but physically I'm stuck. So it's that thing where I'm reading this book called Atomic Habits, like everyone else have read, right?
Atomic Habits, James Clear?
Yeah, that's one. That's one. Great book. But me sitting in that couch is, I can switch off, I can rest, I can just be myself. However, that's great for an hour, 2 hours, not for 5, 6. And let's say we didn't have this podcast book today, I could easily be in that couch from 10 a.m. to 3, that's 5 hours. Then be like, oh, I have to do my weekly shop. I'll go up, take the car, go over, buy in for a week, go home, eat some food, sit in the couch, I sit there for another 5 hours. But if I'm actually not like yourself, or I have my habit of going down and get my coffee, I'm out, I'm around people, I do stuff. If I don't do that, I will literally just sit down at all time. I'm Eddie, my dog. He will only get a walk one a day for an hour, and then some cuddle on the couch. So actually, for the personal training business, I have to be on top and figure out what do I actually want to do, how do I want to create my business. But also, currently my partner, she's in the Caribbean, so I'm alone for 3 weeks. So I'm like, okay, when I come home, I need to walk the dog instead of just home. Can I take him for a jog instead? What kind of business stuff do I need to do? What kind of stuff for home do I need to get sorted? Because if I'm just alone, I'm normally up at 5. I leave at 6. My missus is sleeping. So I'm never doing the bed. But now, I actually have to take an active choice of making the bed. But suddenly, because of normally when you're 2 or there's some habits going on, it's easy. When I was in Virgin Active, I don't really have to do too much to create a new client for myself or to help this person, because in there you cannot really miss me. I'm quite large. I'm very happy face. People recommend me. I'm very busy. I'm always in a session, so people will be like thinking, "Oh, he's very good at what he does, so we can recommend to him," or I want to work with him because he's any reason. But now that will not happen anymore. So I have to think out of the box and do different things. I'm very extroverted, but also at the same time, sometimes I do need to go back and recharge, because else I'm literally like, this is a long day.
There's definitely like some downtime, some lounging on the couch, some laying in the bed is absolutely fine.
Yeah.
If it's to the point where it's like no activity is occurring, it's obviously quite more problematic. And what you've basically described there is having a purpose.
Yeah.
And big reason actually, when I started doing this podcast, it was because I was drifting without a purpose. And whilst I didn't necessarily have a clear idea of what any of this would bring me in like a tangible, physical, material sense, the main thing I knew I was going to get from it is a reason to get up, and it was a reason to talk to people. It was a reason to put my mind to something. And yeah, like today, if I didn't have to come down here and set this up and sit with you and have this conversation, what would I have been doing? I would have potentially just been at home, and like I haven't got any particular reason to go anywhere and do anything. So I've had to create reasons for me to be up and moving. Reality is, for a lot of people that are like myself, or anybody, life isn't always just going to come and give you a reason to move. And if you're in that situation, like no one's going to come and say, oh, you should be doing something or go do this. You're not a child at this point, you're an adult. And the harsh reality is all the other adults, it's not that they don't care about you, but they're too busy dealing with them, and it's not their responsibility to be managing you in your life. So you have to take it upon yourself to say, right, I need to get up, I need to keep moving, I need to recognize where I need to be more active, and I also need to recognize where I should be doing something for my health, like exercise. Because outside of me and you having this conversation, and hopefully someone listening to it, no one's just coming up to your face and knocking on your door and saying, right, come on, let's go. And fair enough, I did it that time for my flatmate, but that was one time. And
they're in your space.
and I live with her, and we haven't done it since.
Yeah, exactly.
It's still on her to, knock on my door and say, can I do that with you? It's still on her to make the effort for herself to do that.
Yeah.
I did it that one time because I wanted to help and I wanted to show her stuff, but I at the same time have to get on, and I also have to do it for myself as well. And so we all have to carry ourselves as best we can with purpose. And I'm sure you'll agree with me is we would love to see as many people exercise and be active and be well and be healthy and not have pain in their body and not have increased risk of disease, cardiovascular disease, diabetes, and all the other things that come with being inactive. That's what I would love to see, and I'm sure any person working in the wellness space, that's what we want, right? We want to see a more well world.
See people feeling good, be good, just there's no pain. One of my favorite things is when people come with pain and they want my help and I can help them, and we get away from the pain, and now suddenly they're pain-free, but we can actually get greater progression in their movement pattern, they get stronger, etc. And the happiness and the purpose of doing that is honestly is the best of my job, is to help people. And you can see that they really value the time, and what we've done together is not a coach and a client, is a partnership, because we're going places together, and the more people can help each other or help themselves to feel pain-free, get in better position with their health and not getting diseases, inactive, whatever, I'll be buzzing.
Amazing.